Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So what if I told you your brain is not fixed? Right now, as you're watching this video, your brain is physically changing. So the question is, are you shaping it or is your environment shaping it for you? So our brain is made up of 86 billions of cells, and these are called neurons. So these neurons communicate through connections, which is called synapses. This is the connection, okay? And this is where learning actually happens. So every time you repeat a thought, could be positive thought or negative thought, or it could be a behavior when you do it again and again, or a skill when you learn a skill and then repeat it, make it a habit, you actually strengthen a connection in your brain. And this is called neuroplasticity. Okay? So normally your brain is constantly rewiring itself. So this ability of the brain is called neuroplasticity. So when you actually help your brain in memory and brain function, you make a skill like a habit. When you repeat it again and again, when you do something productive, and when you make it consistent, you will have a good brain development. So this is the reason how we learn, adapt, and change at any age. Okay, so as children we form a massive connection, but when we grow old, the brain starts keeping what we can use and then removing what we don't. So this is why if you learn language 5-6 years back and then you forget to use it, or you don't actually practice it or speak through that language, you will definitely forget it. So the brain actually deletes that pathway and you'll definitely forget it. Okay, so as I've told you, if you don't use this connection, your brain will delete that pathway. Okay, so when it deletes, that skill will disappear. And that's why a habit is very, very powerful. When you make something a habit, it's good for your memory and it develops your brain too. So what affects this? Chronic stress and poor sleep actually shrinks the parts of the brain that's involved in memory, okay? And the other thing is overstimulation, especially on social media. Overstimulation will actually cause this dopamine surge, and then you will have difficulty in your memory, in your brain function, okay? So too much stimulation, too much social media will be bad for your brain. So the other is, there's a protein that's called BDNF. This protein is like food for your brain cells. So it's really important for brain growth. So this BDNF actually decreases when you have lots of stimulation in the brain. Okay? So it depends, your brain function depends on this chemical called BDNF. And so memory happens in 3 steps, right? You encode an information and then you store it, and then later on you retrieve it. Okay, and every step can be trained. This is what you have to know. In your brain, everything can be trained. So how can we help our brain develop in the right way and help that new connections, okay, neural connections? So the first one is exercise. Exercise is the most powerful ways to improve your brain function. This is because exercise increases blood flow and oxygen to our brain, right? When we exercise, it's been told that in all our organs, for all our organs, exercise is really important because it helps the circulation of blood, meaning the circulation of oxygen. Okay, so when we have regular exercise, we increase that blood flow to the brain and helps boost that protein that I have told you, which is called BDNF. It's a food for your brain function, okay? So that's the first one. The second is sleep. So sleep is when your brain organizes. So when you sleep, your brain organizes the thoughts throughout the day and then stores it as memory. So without it, learning is going to be incomplete, okay? So the third is, scrolling is not learning, by the way. Struggling to understand something deeply, that's what's going to build your strong neural pathway. That's what's going to build strong memory and then great brain function. So sleep is sleep is important. It's very important. And then aside from that, when you struggle to learn something, your brain actually develops well. So it's good to choose, when you learn a language, a difficult language, your brain struggles to understand that. So it's really good for its brain function and development. Okay. So the other is repeating information over time. As I've told you, when you make it a habit, when you make some behavior a habit, when you do it again and again, the brain loves it so much, and it strengthens your memory. So the ability to have good memory is because of repetitive tasks, okay? Repetition, which is like a habit. So the other is attention, focus. It's a gateway to memory. So if you're distracted when you do some tasks, your brain doesn't actually store the information properly. So that's why multitasking is very bad. Well, you know that women are good in multitasking, right? So, but that's not a good trait. That's not a good character for us. It's actually bad to multitask. It's better to focus on one specific task and do that properly, so an information is actually stored properly. So the other is too much stimulation. As I've told you, it will reduce the brain's ability to focus on an important task. Okay, so if you want to be more productive, you don't need more motivation. You just need better habits. If you have a routine, simple daily routine, and if you repeat it again and again, if you have a routine and if you repeat that habit, make it a habit, if you repeat that behavior, and then you'll have a good neural connection, and then you'll have a good memory and brain function too. So your brain is always changing, okay? The only question is, are you building it or are you breaking it? Be cautious, okay? Be cautious. This is such an important information for you. So if you want more, science-based health and brain content, please subscribe. And if you have any comments, please comment down below. So my advice is start training your brain today, so you can have better function, so you can be very productive, and so you can have a better memory. So thank you very much. Hope you loved this video. I'll come back with other interesting topics. Thank you so much. Bye.